Okay, we're recording. Grandpa Raymond, can you go ahead and pray for us? Hang on.
Okay. Rahud, Nadi Wakanda. Thank you, Father, for letting us gather here today to learn our language. We pray for everyone here, Lord. Let us all praise to God. We put that in there. And thank you for the beautiful weather we have. We pray for those who are injured on the highway to the west of us. Give their family comfort, Lord. And we pray for our people. No matter where they are, as long as they're Ponca, we pray for them. We pray for all natives. Thank you, Father, for letting us be here. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Okay, so now is everybody on 287? It's called The Bear Girl. It was Grandpa cries for war. Nudan Acha. Nudan Acha. This one right here, you guys make sure you guys get pens and papers out because we're gonna do some writing. I want you guys to write this. I'm gonna type it up. I'm gonna type it up tomorrow. What did I do with that pen? Hold on. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and go on to we're gonna go on to the whiteboard. Are you guys ready? I want you to write this one down and say, come on in.
Okay.
Yeah. Come on. This is the first sentence right here.
Can you see it?
Yes.
Oh. You want those other reading glasses?
No.
Somebody's gonna know.
I should have bought that.
Excuse me.
Let me know when you guys get that roll. We're gonna go on to the next.
I need to wash this face.
I watched that gray one.
I didn't
but
hear you.
Probably.
Somebody mute yourself.
Wait, what did you say?
I hear a lot of sound. What is that? Is that somebody talking? Hang on. Everybody just mute yourself. Right now, you guys, we're just starting on Bear Girl. This is told by a Ponca right here named Nuda Acha. And he was a young man that became a strong warrior for our people. And we're gonna go through his story. We're gonna work on this for the next couple of days because it's pretty long. You just mute yourself, and when you guys got a question, remember when I got my whiteboard on, if you shake your head, I can't understand. So I'm going to ask if everybody's ready. So right now, look on it. We're going to be writing.
We're gonna write this down now.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, hold on, hold on. These are the first three sentences, but they're not the first line because in this book, everything goes line by line. There could be multiple or a couple sentences or a fragment sentence in these. So some of these I'm just writing out that these are sentences. Tidu ba tiya mama. Ki mi jinganuch ti biama. Ki iha ka. Yeah, hina biama. So they're just gonna be like that way. So I got so write them down. Have her call me if she needs something. Who's having difficulties? Gotcha. Hold on. Gee. Oh, no, damn. Where the alarm? Yeah. Does everybody have these four right here? These sentences?
Got it. Humbly.
Yes, I have
Got
the
it.
sentences written down.
Humbly. Yes.
Uh, Gotcha. Mhm. One, two, three. Let's see. Everything else is there. Those of you who got your book, go to page 91. Are you guys there?
Where, what are you talking about?
Go to page
Here.
91. Go to page 291.
91 and what?
No,
291?
291. We're in that. Yeah, we're in that 291 in that Veggie Hall book.
Yeah.
No, Veggie Hall book.
It tastes weird. I don't know. It tastes weird. Funny. I don't know if I like it. Berkey.
Okay, so I want you guys to look down in the middle of that paragraph where it's talking about notes. If you got this book, it's got a lot of good things in it, but you're going to also see how it says her mother combed her hair for her, although she was grown. This was customary, which is still how today. Okay, now you got all these corrections and these notes. You're going through them, and you guys get time down the road, read through them. But they got a Santacy. He's correct. He's correcting Ponca words in there, saying that this is how he thinks it should be said. But like I told you, I'm not talking about them. But you can't correct the way we speak. We talk Ponca. You understand? We don't talk
Yeah.
in the back of these. Everything you're gonna see that's a Ponca said, and they recorded and they wrote and transcribed them. They're always gonna have a Omaha in here talking, saying that we're not saying it right or we shouldn't say it this way. This textbook is only part of it. What we've gone through and in modern times, what Grandpa Lewis and other Ponkas have said throughout the years, they tried to correct us. You can't correct them. Don't go there and try to correct them and say, hey, we don't talk like you don't talk like that. Talk like us. You see, that's what they're trying to say. There's many ways to say things in our language, but when you talk a certain way, you would be differentiated, Ponca, Umaha. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But we're Ponca. I just wanted you guys to look at that because I saw something in here, and I remembered that I saw a correction on something. And this book is going to point that out about all these different deals. So anyway, let's continue on. Here's an expression here. I'm not going to put it in here though, but I don't know that expression. Even in modern punk or when I was younger, I know what it says in the back of that book, but I'm not going to put it in this right here. I don't know. Even in our Ponca dictionary, and then in that walks on the ground or anything, I got everything that Grandpa Curtis Lieb ever made, Grandpa Henry Lieb ever made, and Grandpa Sherman. I got most of his work, if not all of it, unless his personal diaries, and I got a lot of Grandpa Lewis. I'm missing one thing from him, and nobody knows where it's at, but it's anyway. It's not important now because we can't find it, and Grandpa Lewis never kept a hard copy of it. But it's gone. Hold on, copy. And I never seen that word, and it says it's an expression. And I read this over and over. You guys ever look at my book that you guys got? My book's taped together, and you already know, those of you who have one of these Deggy books, they're huge. Mine's taped together. I ripped these things apart when I was young. And one of these days, you guys come, I see in person. I'll let you look at my book. I got notes written on them, things that people told me, or I heard it this way, or I don't think this is right, or I marked off things looking at them to see if they were like what I heard. This book is the best book to learn from, but you have to read the very beginning, just like I tell you guys in that dictionary. You don't read the pages. What you even looking at the dictionary for? It's the same way with this, but you really got to look at this because this here is totally different. I'm talking about than anything you ever read. There is no greater teaching book than this book here. But you got to know how to read it. You have to understand. You have to see there's words that are missing in it. You got to know the language and the words that are missing in there. And I don't mean a word, a letter. Like it's just totally off. Why? I don't know. But if you know the language, you can put it together. You understand? And there's a lot of them. And as we go through this book, there might be some in this one right here. So I'll have to show you. I want you guys, each and every one of you that's on this class, I want every one of you to be good enough to teach like me.
Yeah.
That is my goal, is for each and every one of you to be able to know what I know. I'm not like our predecessors or people that didn't know no better, or people that did know better, or people that are great. I want you guys to know what I know and beyond Eagle Rod. I want you to know and teach it, but teach it right. Don't make stuff up. There's so many people today in White Eagle making crap up, saying this or saying that, pronouncing words wrong. Well, my grandpa said it that way. I'm like, stop it. Your grandpa knew how to talk Ponca. He wouldn't never tell you. My grandma said, stop it. Learn the language. Pay attention. all of you that are on here right now, you have that same ability to be better than I am. My goal is to get you there. Pay attention to what I say. Keep me on my toes. You guys got this. I'm telling you, it's gonna get easier as it goes along, but you got to put a little effort into it. I put an effort into this language, and now it's recognized from a lot of places. But it's sad because there's so many better than I am. Why aren't they helping? And I'm not talking about Grandpa Lewis. There's no Ponca out of Oklahoma to north. There is no Ponca that has did more to preserve this language than he has. There are others that helped along the way as well, but they're not here no more. You guys are that last front
Yep,
line to
I agree.
stop all this European talk that we're so comfortable with that we forgot who we are. We're gonna stop at these 7 sentences right now. I don't want to get you overwhelmed, so make sure you got them wrote down. I'm gonna read them down even though I wrote them on there, I got another paper that I'm writing because I'm gonna type them all out so I could pass them out. Grandpa, you got anything you want to say?
No,
I'm writing.
I agree with you. These are good, and them notes are good too. Do you know that one that you do where it says "aha"? Where'd it go?
Hey, huh? It says, "Hey, huh." That sounds like a woman's expression, but I can't find it nowhere. I can't find it nowhere because I don't know that word.
You see.
Other than reading it here, other than reading this book 20 years ago and seeing it and still, and I asked a few women because I don't care. There ain't nobody could tell me that's a man word. Eh, huh? That just sounds feminine as hell. But at the same time,
Yeah,
as you read this Ziggy Hop book, you're gonna see where Reverend Dorsey Mingue, where he made mistakes and he threw Oto words or Iowa words in our Ziggy Hop. I don't know if you got that far into it, Grandpa, but he did do that. I'm not, I'm sure he didn't do it on purpose though.
yeah.
And that very well could be one of them words because, like I said, I have never heard that. That just sounds feminine. But this is a man talking, so it don't. The reason I'm saying it sounds feminine is because this is a man telling a story, not a woman. Why would he talk feminine when he was pure man? And I know you guys might not understand that, but in the Ponca culture, when a man speaks, he's not talking like a woman. Do you understand? This person is talking like got some femininity in what they're saying, and I doubt that man said that. And that
No,
word, I don't know that word. Go ahead. Hang on. And I want to tell you guys something on that book right here. I believe this is a typo where it says on this the sixth one on this the second one down from the top right here says Egon Donjon. I don't think that's right. I think it's Egon Donjon because it doesn't make sense. Way. So I want you guys to correct this. I think this is a typo. It should be Egon Donjon. I don't believe that's right. You guys, some of you got your dictionary. Open up look up that word. This. Donjon. It means but, and it can mean a couple other meanings. No, it's weird.
Here you go. I put the story in a
Go ahead.
Ponca chat. I took pictures. It's Barbara.
I seen it. I seen it, sister.
Okay, good.
And you guys could start correcting these, but I'm gonna use this keyboard. Like I said, they made me a keyboard where I could use all this and type in them. And I learned how to finally send this to emails and other stuff. Well, I'm like a Stone Age type guy. I put my baby to sleep. He's over there knocked out still. He's tired. He's fighting, playing around until I look at them little eyes and tell him it's time for bed, boy. Well, then, well, thank you. And put it over here. Thank you. What's your mom making?
Hey, Eagle.
Yeah, I'm here.
One of them is
Good,
an
sis.
adverb meaning however. One of them's an adverb that says however, and the other one is a conjunction meaning although. For d'argent.
On which one?
D'argent. Same word. Same exact word, d'argent. Is that right? No, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I read it wrong. I did a D slash. I always do that. Sorry.
It is a D slash. It is a D. It is a D slash.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. Well, then that was it then. There's only two
It's
that
not
they
wrote
got.
correctly. It's not wrote correctly in
Yeah,
there.
yeah, they're identical, either however or although.
Yeah. It also means but. I don't know why that's not in there though. Like
Yeah.
but, but. Like I say, like if I say te se ua hamambli donjon, the hamambli. That's it. I just told you I'm having a difficult time, but I trust in your son. Put this right here for this.
Thank you.
She's in there. She's in there. She's not in here. Go look. Go look. Hey, hold on, Con. Okay, I'm gonna take this whiteboard down since you guys already have all that anyway. Okay, so what do you guys on that first sentence, Garrett? We're gonna start with you, then we're gonna go to Grandpa, then we're gonna go to Barbara, then we're gonna go to Debbie, then Connie. Say that first sentence to me.
Okay. Tidupa ti amama ki mijinga nachti biama. How far do you want me to go with this? I don't know where it ends exactly.
I just want you to go with that first sentence, everybody. So
Are you talking about that's currently on the whiteboard now or from like the very beginning?
yeah, just that first one. Go ahead, Grandpa.
That says, ti duba, ti amama, ki nijinga noch ti biama. Next.
Go ahead.
Tiduba, Tiamama, Kimijinga, Nakshibiyama.
Tiduba, Tiamama, Kimijinga, Nakti Biyama. I'm lost. Did we just read the same sentence twice? Or am I lost? Kiina aka
Gary, you're just doing that.
Biahena Biama Kiina aka Biahena Biama.
Y'all are speaking too fast. You
Oh.
should say, you gotta go slow, like to say, and then when you come to key, that key, that's like a pause, but you're not really pausing. Like, listen. Ti duba, ti mama, ki mishinga, noch ti miama. You speaking too fast. You have to slow down. That key and should slow you down like he's thinking. Ti duba, ti mama, ki mishinga, noch ti miama. You see how it flows? But that key is like saying but it actually means and, like ti duba, ti mama, ki mishinga. You see how it rises? Now that second sentence, ki ihaka, ki ache, no biama, we de ala biama, ki no jiha, ha de, ibistachti, ki aki biama, ego donjon, inchachti, no jiha, diache, donchti. Piace inoha ino rabiama ihaka. You do you get a feeling of how a person who's telling this story would be talking? That key for and, it's like holding your attention and like that. And the girl, fully grown, they say, and her mother used to comb her hair. Giache, no, Yoma. Then that's they say. And after that, it says, way they Allah Yoma. Ki no jiha ha de ibistachti aki Yoma. You get it? It's the way that he's telling the story is the way. Notice how it rises and falls, rises and falls. The sentences rise and then they fall. That key is like an extension of and then something happens, like that. But let me read it again. Ti duba, ti amama, ki mishinga noch ti bioma, ki imhaka, giache, no bioma, wede ala bioma, ki mishinga kade ibistochti, aki bioma. That's how it should be said. That's the way I heard it anyway. Might listen to the ego when he reads it and says, listen to his words rise and fall. That's where those, what do they call them above the word that says like E forward slash E, it rises. Yeah, the diacritics. If you follow those, you'll sound like I just did. Ti duba, ti amama, ki mishinga, no ti biama, ki ihaka, giache, no biama, wede ada biama, ki no jiha, hade, ibistachti, aki biama. You hear me? I mean, does it make sense? Yeah, how the language rises and falls, right? And then that key, and then it rises and when a key. When he's saying key, he's thinking Mishinga Nakti Biama. Ki he's saying Ki he's thinking Ihaka. She's the one who said it. She's the subject. They're talking about their mothers telling was combing her hair. But you can make that T. You can't make it real short. Like I heard someone say, "Ti do ba ti mama ki mi shinga." See, yes, you'll just barely hear ki mi shinga. No, ti biama ki iha aka ki ahe no biama we de ada biama ki no jiha ha de ibistas ti aki biama. See that key is like he's holding your attention for the next word. Ki iha aka. Her mother, even though she was fully grown, she combed her hair, which is tradition. Hope that made a little bit of sense. Just to give you, that's the way I heard Ponca stories when somebody was using Biyama, because that's the way they heard it. It doesn't mean they were there or alive. That's the way they heard it. That's all I got to say. But you slow down. Another thing I'm saying, take your time. Ti do ba ti amam ki mishinga no ti biama ki ihaka giahe no biama we de ala biama ki no jiha ha de vista ti aki biama e donjon instant ti instant ti no jiha giahe Gonsti, piace inahi, ihan, abiyama, ihaka, egile, machu, vinke, mishinga, ire akama, nu wish, shonge, une, ahi biyama, machu, ke, ira biyama, kate, di, machu, ede, di, ke, shonge. I don't know. That sounds good to me. If anybody else want to try to read like that, take your time. Don't get in no French hurry. Just Ponca. Sean, so somebody else read. Let's hear you.
Oh, so Weebleho for that. I'll take a try. Okay. Although actually, yeah, it should be fun. Okay. Ti dupa ti amama ki bijinga nachti bi ama ki ihan aka giahe na biama we de atai biama ki na jihan khade ibistachti aki biama eganta Jean ichachti na jihan diahe dashti piaji inahi biama ina or ihan aka.
Well, you just have to go a little bit slower. It takes time. It don't come overnight. Go ahead and go next, Barbara.
Ti duba tiamama ki mijinga noksti biama ki ihan aka kiahenon biama. Wede arai biama ki nonji ha hade ibistoksti akibiama egon donjon inchaksti najiha kiahedaksti pi aji inohi iabiama ihan aka shon.
Go ahead, Debbie, if you're willing.
Maybe Debbie went to feed her mom.
Okay, we'll just take a pause for a second. Hang on.
I'm gonna go grab a pill real fast. I'll be right back. It's right on the corner.
Who didn't go? Deb, are you back yet?
Okay, I didn't see it until just now, but my mom did text me like a few minutes ago, letting me know that she had to take care of my grandma. So I don't. I'll text her and let her know to just holler out whenever she gets back.
Okay. Did Connie come back yet? Connie, did she say she was going? Who was it?
Maybe Garrett can take a shot.
I thought he did already.
Oh,
Did you
okay.
say
I
it
thought that
was?
was Robert's voice.
Is
Garrett, you
Robert
did
on
good.
there?
Oh, yeah.
No, I thought that was
No.
Robert's voice. Garrett did good. Never mind.
Yes, Garrett.
Are we going to do translation of these sentences?
Yeah, we will here in a little bit. Maybe tomorrow. I don't even know yet.
Okay.
Listen, when you say
Oh.
that first one, first word, it ain't T, it's T. T do, ba. Yeah, mama. You gotta learn how to see those lotto stops. Some of you guys are saying it like it's T. It's not T, it's T. T. It's a pause on that. Try it again. Go ahead, Garrett. Try it again. Just say it word for word. T. Do, ba. T. Ah, ma. Ma. And then say
T.
every one of them, single word.
Okay. So, like T. Du. T. Dupa. T. Amma. Ma. Ki. Mijinge. Or Mijinga. Nachti. Biama. Ki. Ihan aka. Giahe. Not biama. Wede. Athai biama. Ki. Na jihan khade. Ibistachti. Aki biama. Egantan Jean. Actually, sorry, excuse me. Okay, so Ichachti. Najihan. Giahe. Dashti. Piaji. Inahi. Ia. Biama. Ihan aka.
Better. Just always say them slow. T do, ba. Yeah, mama. Ki music, you know. Te biama. Ki. Ihan ka. Gahe. Na biama. Where? Ala biama. Ki no jiha. Khade bishtachte. Aki biama. Egan lonjon. Ichonchte. No jiha. Gahe. Long piaji. Inahi. Ah biama. Ihan ka. A lot of times when they talk fluently, more fluent, it'll sound different when you talk fluid. Right now, you guys are at that state where you're learning on your pronunciation. You guys, everybody in this class right now, they already have the alphabet down. And even though I put no jiha, that is the correct way to say it. But most of the time, when you hear Ponca say it, they're going to say no jiha. They don't say, some might, but most of them don't. They don't say no jiha, no jiha. I never really asked that question. Why? Why do we drop that nozzle vowel sound on some of them?
Why?
They're back.
Go ahead, Connie. Barbara. Say it again. One of y'all. Did Connie come back?
Connie and Debbie are back.
Deb, go ahead and say it, but just say it slower.
Me, the whole thing?
Yes.
Ti duba. Ti ama ma. Kini jinga. Nanti yama. Ki dihan ka. Yahe. No yama. Wele. Ave. Abai. Yama. Ki najiha. Khade. Ibista akti. Aki yama. Egon Donjon. Echon Akti. Giahe Donsti. Donsti. Piaji Inahim Ha Piama Gihan Haka.
Good. Okay, so Connie, go ahead and go.
Okay, can y'all hear me? I'm a good ways away.
Yes.
Ti duba. Ti ama ma. Kimi jinga. Nachti biyama. Ki iha. Aka. Giahena. Biyama. Wele. Adai. Biyama. Kinajiha. Khade. Ibishtachti aki biyama. Iga daja. Ikjaktina. Ikjaktina ji. Naji. Ha. Gyahe. Dashti. Piaji. Inahi. And I didn't get the rest of it wrote down. I don't know what the last three words are. I got
That's all right.
Inahi, and then I lost it. Oh, Iha Abiyama, or Biyama, Iha Aka. I had to find it in the book. Thanks.
Okay, anybody, Deb and Barbara, go ahead and tell us about that this past weekend. I heard it was real good when Grandpa went up there. Go ahead, one of y'all go first and the other one go tell us about it. I was excited to hear it.
Go ahead. Deb, you can go.
It was really interesting. He had notes that he went over the giving of the Ponca names and the clans and how certain names belong to certain clans. And they went over funerals. And he said the last traditional one was in 1933. And they used to bury them the same day as they died. It was all done very quickly. And then they did the 4 days where they stayed home and stayed in the same clothes, and people brought them food. And they had what they called a watisi, which is they're cleaning up the whole life of the person, and then they burned all their stuff. And sometimes people in mourning would cut their arms and their thighs and their hair and rough cut their hair. The marriages, most of them were arranged, and they started off with giving gifts. There would be gifts given to the girl's family, and then they would reciprocate, and then they'd usually get married, and then more gifts. And he said the playing of the flute was used with the girl. He said Poncas burn cedar, not sage. That's other tribes do that. All dwellings faced east. You the next one?
What Debbie said about the funerals, and I thought it was interesting because when they transferred into doing it for the 4 days, how he mentioned they would keep the same clothes on was because so the spirit would recognize them. The spirit that had done the leaving would recognize the person in the clothes that they wore the day they died. I thought that was really interesting. And then they would wash and refresh themselves after the 4 days and after the burial. He told some good stories. One was about a girl who was being courted by two brothers. One was considered pretty boy and the other was considered ugly boy. And the pretty boy was arrogant and vain and a trickster, and the so-called ugly or plain boy had really good virtues and honor. And in the story, like one scene that stood out was when the young girl was going by the family lodge, he saw that the ugly boy's sisters were braiding and combing his hair and caring for him, and the mother was feeding him. Whereas when she went by the pretty boy's lodge, he was gnawing on the fetlock of a buffalo calf, like chewing on the last grittiest pieces of meat. And it showed that he wasn't as cared for, respected by his family, even though that was the opposite of what he tried to portray. And it just continued that way, and I thought it was a really telling story about different virtues and how the Ponca respected different things. And in the end, the girl found out the pretty boy was a liar and everything, so she chose the other. And when Debbie talked about the cedar being the sacred plant of choice among the Ponca, Lewis told a story about an eagle with an injured wing and how this eagle hopped up a little more every day up a cedar tree and would rub his wings against the tree, and somehow the cedar tree helped him to heal. And one of the scouts observed all of this and gathered from that evidence that the cedar must have healing power. And that was one of the ways that the cedar came to the Ponca people. He told a lot of stories like that. Talked about different giveaways. You know, yesterday we mentioned that in true Ponca giveaways, you don't give away to your closest relatives, to your relatives. That's actually considered disrespectful. So sometimes if a relative is given a gift, he'll give it away and turn around and give it to someone else, and that's not disrespectful to do that. He talked about the Hadushka Society of Men, its warrior society, and how those songs have spread from coast to coast. And a lot of the tribes know those songs and sing them. And the same was true of dance traditions that started with the Ponca and have become popular in powwows across the country. There was a lot more. What else? Shall I keep going?
Go ahead.
He said that the Hisaga clan, Oliver Littlecook, was responsible for all the burning of cedar at the ceremonies, fanning the body of the person that died, and with the idea of cleansing them. He talked about the shinny game being one of the really old games, and that there was also a woman's version of it, that they started it in the first week of April, that April was considered the new year for the Ponca, and shinny was one way to get everybody's blood going and flowing and get them back outside. And I don't remember the name. The women's game was called Wabashnade. And the original thing that they played with was two corn cobs tied together, and that then eventually they would make a ball out of hide, stuffed hide. Oh, this was really interesting. Some social amenities that he discussed was how it's considered rude to really stare someone in the face, and you know, it's so English of us to just try to maintain eye contact while talking, but mostly that's considered rude amongst the Ponca, so they would often stand side by side and you know, carry on conversations without even looking at each other, yet they could pick up on each other's bodily clues well enough that if a man pulled out a cigarette, the man next to him would pull out a lighter. And, you know, just it brought about a different awareness and ability for peripheral vision. Sean, leave the home.
We don't have.
We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Down here in White Eagle, we take those teachings for granted, but it's like because we all know them. The majority of us know them. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
You sound sometimes. If Eagle's want to talk.
But down here, we.
Oh,
Can you guys hear me?
goodness. I'm sorry, y'all.
Yes.
Trying to show my husband how he sounds.
Down here, we all grow up knowing that kind of stuff, you know. You know, it's just something like we're born into. We see it when we go to the funerals. We see it when we go to the different activities or ceremonies we have down here. You know, we take it for granted, I guess, not thinking that others don't know it. And even some of us, when we came up north, you know, I went up there not being judgmental about nothing. You know, I've been up there 2 years in a row at their powwow and been up there several times. And we have to help each other. We have to help one another. Let me help on that, son. And so that's what my goal is to do that. You know, when at this gathering, how many did you say came to this gathering? About 30, was it? Or how many?
Yes.
It's going to take more than just 30. It's going to take more than this class. It's going to take as a whole to like, get this thing going or get it together. Because so many of us, we don't see eye to eye, even down here. So many of us think it's funny that another Ponca, whether they be down here or up there, I don't know. And they might act stink. We call it act stink or act masa or talk some kind of way, masa EA. And we don't even help each other like we're supposed to. And that's what I don't like either when we're like that way. You know, we got to start coming together. We can't say this family or that family, that's the way they talk or that's how they are. And a lot of us know down here, we know brutally how brutal a Ponca can be toward one another. Even killing each other, hurting each other, and so on. I don't even want to say the other stuff. And I'm sure some of it's like that up that way, but I can only talk for down here because this is all I know. And so when we talk about these different ceremonies, you know, it's common. But down here, and I'm glad that my grandfather, they heard it from him. We never give to our own. Never. And I've seen people in other tribes that are similar to us, that have similar teachings like us, you know, because we're similar from the hundreds of years of being together side by side or intermarrying. And I seen some people got really mad but they were like adopted in. They were white people. They were so mad that they didn't get a gift. And I told them, it is not proper for you to get a gift. I said, it is not our way. And so they left. I'll never forget that day. They left and they were so mad, so upset over not getting a gift that they took about 30 people with them and they started to pray. And they said that, you know, that's why these people are this way. You know, they talk down upon us. But yeah, their children were our children. You know, and they didn't like that it was that way. But sometimes it's that way. You know, you got to go through them kind of obstacles, those kind of turmoil and hardships, you know, to see how people conduct themselves and see their teachings. And the way one carries himself down here, it reflects on their family. And it doesn't matter if they were taught good, because we're all individual people. We're going to do what we want, and we get to that age. When we're at that age where we feel like we don't have to listen. We don't have to do nothing. I was taught by the best people that were down here that are Ponca. And, you know, and even some of our elders, you know, they got a pass, but that's because we're human. And some of the very people that you guys hear and that talk and all these other types of things, they have a past too. Just like I have a past, you got a past. Some may be better than others, but I'll tell you this. I hear some of these guys talk that are elders today, that they don't forget who they are. They don't forget what they've done. They don't forget what they've done to women. They don't forget what they've done to marriages. But they're quick to talk about somebody else. We have to stop that. Nobody on this earth is perfect. Nobody on this earth is better than anybody, but you can conduct yourself in a way that's different than others, that you're comfortable with, that you don't have to be that way. And sometimes it's that way. And that's a problem today. We have to get to that point where we stop hating one another. We stop all these different types of things that are going on and come together and unify as a people. To remember who God is. Remember that Wakanda's always watching us, that he's always looking down on us. But some people don't believe that way. They're so quick to judge or talk about somebody or try to steal or get over on somebody or do some kind of bad thing. And we have to get past that point. I'm not saying everybody's like that, but a great number of them are. And that's all walks of life, not just Ponca. I'll give you guys to respond.
I want to hear what Grandpa Raymond has to say. I miss Grandpa Raymond, and I'm glad to see him tonight.
I'm here. I listen. Oh, no. Oh, where do I start? Like, go back to that story about the pretty boy and the other one. There are children that that still goes on today, where one family takes care of their boy one way, and another family takes care of theirs a different way, and eventually they grow up. But it boils down to you don't brag. You don't never brag on yourself. You let other people brag on you. That's the way I was taught. Always never tried to be somebody who's out there bragging on, I did that. You don't have to do that. You know, I let other people talk about me, whether I was good or bad. It doesn't matter. But as long as I don't brag on myself, I'll feel pretty good. You know, it's and I remember hearing about funerals. I've been to a lot of funerals, and I remember some passed on, some big family. The old man dies, and I've seen Ponca women and men actually cut their hair with a knife because their parent went on, especially if he was revered, by other families. We grew up down here. But then I learned a lot from my grandparents, and I still remember those ways. And I go to these dances and giveaways and stuff, and it's pretty much the same over the 70 years. Some stuff changed, though. People go away and they forget their Ponca, come back with ways from other people that are not Ponca, and then they try to put that in our beliefs and our burials and stuff. But you can't You can't blame them the best. You just say, yep,
Yes, the government wanted was to assimilate us.
yeah. Like Gail said,
That's what the government wanted.
that's what the government wants us to do.
Be assimilated.
Be assimilated into the white society. And forget our traditional values and
Core principles.
our core principles they try to change. But old people, and hopefully the young people in the 50s, I hope they picked up on the good parts of growing up as a Ponca.
We used to battle it out when we were kids. 5 years old, we'll be fighting. Push us together, make us fight, make us stronger and tougher.
Did that. And Pastor Hedman was right about the shinny game, except
I didn't know women used to play.
I can show a picture by Gatlin, that famous Western artist. He drew a picture of a chief's life. It's in that Ponca book. And you take a magnifying glass and you look at that picture real close. It is a picture on the inside of her robe, the hide. There, and it shows a shinny game. And that ball is round. That painting was painted in 1850s, give or take a few years. But I was really proud of that, because what would that be, 1850, 1950? Over 150 years ago, Gatlin drew a picture of a shinny game on the chief's wife's robe on the inside, the smooth part. I can get my book and take a picture of it. And you look at that, there's a woman out there. She's the only one, a woman's the only one can touch that ball with her hands. Men folk don't do that. You can use your hand to knock it out of the air, or your stick, your shinny stick, but you can't pick that ball up with your hand and throw it. That is reserved for women. Woman on the sidelines watching the game go on. That ball comes and hits at her feet. She can reach down there. And she don't have to just throw it right in front of her. She can look for her son or her man or her uncle when she knows it, and throw that ball overhand at him. And he'll get it by hitting it with his hand and knocking it down, or he'd knock it down with his stick and then hit it and take off with that ball. That's how, those are just some of the rules. You know, they're not rules, they're just considered, that's the way we play the game. So, I don't know, never heard of two corn cob. You ever try to hit a corn cob? I can, because I'm an excellent shinny game player. I can do that. I'm bragging on myself. I shouldn't be doing that. But I just can't see the corn cob lasting all afternoon. Not no way. You'd break that thing into 8 pieces.
I ain't never heard that in my life.
Me either.
And I talked to Martin Blueback Sr. He was probably about 30 years older than Grandpa Lewis. And he was the keeper. He was what they call Tabe Gasi Avi. Tabe Gasi Avi. He was the keeper of that. He ain't never told me nothing like that. And when you guys say something, I just listen, because who am I to say anything? But I ain't never been told that though anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so true.
Ow!
Learned a lot about that. How to play. Women played, not girls.
Well, I didn't know that.
There's a difference between a woman and a girl.
Yeah, Dad, I know that. All I'm saying is, I didn't know they played.
Smart, you would never, even today, a smart girl will not be out there with those boys her age because they'll get bruised up or pushed down. You can't stop a grown up, not no little kid. So that's why you see young boys playing around the outside, because sometimes that ball does go pretty far. We could be right north of the bleachers and hit that ball, and it'll go way over by the bleachers where there's like 15, 8, 9, 10-year-old kids, boys, and they don't pick that ball up. They use their stick and they try to take it away from each other so they could kick it so it'll go back out where the men folk are. And then they'll take that ball and go either way, east or west. Depends on which way you're going when you receive the ball. And I knew Uncle Martin Blueback. Yeah, he explained to me. He even showed me how to make those shinny balls. I know how to make those. But just had commenting on the game, but I've never heard ever of using a corn cob. Because why would we have a word "dave" for ball if we did not have a ball? Yeah, I knew him well.
Well, listen, we're not calling Grandpa Lewis a liar. We just never been told that, and that same man that Grandpa Raymond's talking about is the same man I'm talking about. He was about a 5-time Golden Glove boxer. Spoke the language fluently. There were traditions.
Yeah.
You know,
He went 5 rounds with Sugar Ray Robinson, who fought into a draw. That picture of him in the ring with Sugar Ray Robinson it got burned up in a house fire on South 2nd Street.
Oh.
Yeehaw. I was there. I saw it.
but like I said, don't get mixed up when we talk like that, because all of us were taught by different people. You know, like when I say he was my greatest teacher, he made me understand how to write the diacritics. He made me learn how to write all these syllables, the syllables and every consonant we have, and then our diphthongs. He taught me all that stuff. But what I'm telling you is, all of us down here, we had people that, like, I know that my grandpa Raymond. I'm only 45. Grandpa, how old are you?
73. Did you hear me?
So he's almost 30 years. He's almost 30 years older than me. And so if I heard people that were born in the late 1800s and the early 1900s, and I know that Grandpa Lewis had too, though. But today, what I mean by that, today everything's one-sided. Today, you're gonna hear one story from one person, because we got so many that aren't writing it down. Some of our Ponca people didn't believe in that. We had a written language. That's why you always hear it called an oral language. But today, without the lack of fluent speakers everywhere, it has to be a written language. It cannot just be oral.
Yeah.
And Grandpa Lewis paved the way in oral Ponca language. Did other men try? Yes, they did. It was phonetic, but the way they wrote it phonetically, how it sounded to them, it would never, a non-speaking Ponca that didn't know the language, even though they went to them classes like Grandpa Curtis, and I'm not talking bad about him, but he did his best he could writing, and he was a fluent speaker. And Grandpa Henry wrote a little bit different than his own brother. But either way, the point I'm trying to make, you out of them two, Grandpa Henry's way of writing was better, because at least you could get the sound almost right. Grandpa Lewis was praying about it and having linguists help and perfected the way our language is spoken as if you spoke it your whole life.
Mhm.
I hope you guys can understand that. And and you're going to hear things that I say. Most generally, people can tell you that I'm right because I'm not going to make nothing up. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to tell it how them old men told me and old women. And them, or if that sounds disrespectful, them grandmas and them grandpas, how they taught me. You know, I don't know what they saw in me as a young boy and as a young man, but they saw something in me, and there was very few I had to pay, but my grandmother insisted that I pay. Insisted that I pay my way to certain men because of their stature and their position in the tribe. Grandpa Lewis was one of the top ones, and then Grandpa Sherman. Those are her little brothers. And so, anyway, hey, and these other men, and these old women used to tell me all kind of stuff. When I'd ask them, they used to love telling me stuff. And even today, what elders we got left, they do. And we got to come to that point. We have to come to that point where you have to be willing to learn. Because
Yeah.
sometimes in this generation, you got people that do not want to learn. You got people that don't want to share, and we have to get all we can.
Weebles,
If Grandpa has
weebles.
somebody he could talk to get something, that's what we do. But me, I paid my way to. There's only 2 men left alive out of all the men I paid. That's Grandpa Sherman and Grandpa Lewis. We all come from the same family line. And those men are far greater than anything I could do. But what I tell you is what I was told as a child, the songs, and that story about Pretty Boy and the Ugly Boy. It's a story about principles on how a woman should marry and be careful who she marries or likes, and the way a suitor might conduct himself on wanting to marry, on what not to do and how to do it. I don't know if you guys understood that when he told you that, Debbie and Barbara. I mean, Debbie and Barbara.
I'm here.
There you go.
Connie, they were there when that story was told up north this past weekend. That's why I named them that way.
I'm just teasing you, honey. It's getting late.
Yeah. Did you all ever hear that story of Fallen Rock? Anybody hear that story about
The story
Fallen
of
Rock?
Falling Rock? No.
Yeah.
Ponca.
So one time, long time ago, this chief had a real pretty daughter. And they had these 2 warriors. They were both kind of well providers, good hunters, good shots, good horse riding. They wanted to marry his daughter. And so that chief, he knew him. He couldn't decide, shall I choose Fallen Rock or shall I choose the other one? Well, I can't remember his name right off the bat, but he was a great warrior, a good hunter and a well provider. So he asked his wife, well, who shall I pick? She said, they're both great. Fallen Rock, he's always bringing in so much buffalo and nut. He gives to the whole tribe, and so does the other one. He said, finally, she said, I got an idea. She said, get them both together and tell them, one of you we'll call him Nudahonga. You go east Fallen Rock, you go west. In 12 months, you come back with everything you collected, and whoever has the most will get to marry my daughter. And so they all agreed. So they had a big feast and dance. And the next morning, them guys had their horse and everything they need. And Nudahunga, he went east. And Fallen Rock, he went west. Time went by, and a year later, the one from the east came back. He had horses and hides and bear claw necklaces and knives, flint knives. And they said, well, let's wait until Fallen Rock comes back. So they waited and waited and waited. And finally, back a couple of months later, Nudahonga went to that chief and said, well, he's not back. What are we going to do? They said, we will wait till Fallen Rock comes back. So they waited and waited. Finally, next spring, that warrior went back over there and asked that chief, well, Fallen Rock ain't back. What are we going to do? You give her to me. And he said, well, it's been a year he's gone, and a year he never came back. And so he said, I'll give her to you. So he got all those things for her. She went off. And then that chief sent out his best scouts and trackers and sent them west to go look for Fallen Rock. They came back 6 months later and said, we went far as the Pahitonga. No sign of him. And they said, well, keep looking, going back out and come back in 6 more months. So they went, came back. Nope, ain't seen hide nor hair of him. And he said, well, he's got to be somewhere. And they kept looking for him. Now, even today, they're still looking for Fallen Rock. You know why? Do you know why they're still looking for him today? When you're driving west on the highways towards the Pahitonga, you'll see signs on the side of the road said, watch for Fallen Rock. Sean, you get it?
That was a good one.
It's an old story I heard once.
That one woke me up a little bit, Grandpa.
They're still looking for Fallen Rock today. You can drive towards where the hills are and stuff back west of us. You'll see yellow signs on the side of the road. Y'all see them on even TV. Little sign says, watch for Fallen Rock. So they're still looking
Some of
for
those
Fallen
National
Rock.
Geographic.
We don't know
National
what
Geographic.
happened to him. I don't remember where I heard that story, but it stuck with me.
It's not a
Yeah, I
fable.
never know that story. I don't know. I don't know if that's a Ponca story or what, but I never heard it. It was comical.
I wouldn't think it was. It was just
I'm gonna have to tell Scott.
to get you to listen. Yeah. I was listening to Art Bell the other day, 2-3 days ago, coast to coast AM, somewhere in time.
Wow,
And
he's a trip.
So I don't know, punch in your head, keep biting me.
somebody called in and said, I don't know where they were or who they were, but all they said was, in my tribe, Bigfoot is Seatonga. I said, I wonder who that is. Who? That's not true. Not in Ponca. That Bigfoot is in Ponca is Molly, the one that walks at night. Molly. Even in Osage, it means that same thing, the one that walks at night. Then them white men who named Hominy, Oklahoma, they got it wrong too. They said, what do you call this place where you guys are living? They'll say, them Osage said, Molly. And they said, oh, we know that. We know what that is. So when they came to put up the city sign outside Hominy, they put Hominy, Hominy. And in reality, it's supposed to be Molly. Over there where Hominy is where you can see Bigfoot in that area, all the way from Hominy to Pawnee, all the way here to Ponca is his territory. And he does walk at night. I've seen him 3 times here in Kay County. Once down White Eagle walking across that basketball court. I saw him the back road going to Tonka across the Shikaski River, that dirt road going north. We were going north there and it lightninged. It was raining and I said lightning lit up where you can see the Shikaski on the right and you see the Salt Fork on the left. I saw a tall, skinny, he must have been a youngster because he wasn't buff, he was thin, but he had hair all over him. And when that lightning flashed, he turned over his right shoulder and his whole upper body turned to look behind him. And I seen his face in that flash. And we was driving and I tried to stop and back up so my lights would aim to the west but he was gone. My girlfriend at the time, she and her friend, they said, don't stop, keep going, keep going. So we went the back way all the way over to Tonka. And the third time I saw him was that industrial road where distribution plant is and the airport. That we went back there, me and my girlfriend and her sister and their niece. We was sitting back there. We backed into a drive into a field, and we were sitting on the back end of the car drinking a few beers, talking and stuff. And just to the southwest of us was a tree, and the moon was at 10 o'clock. As we was looking south, the moon was at 10 o'clock, and we could see that field of wheat growing and that tree. Right to the east of that tree, this great big, I say about 8 or 9 foot tall, hairy man had his arms stretched out right and straight out left, kind of in his forearm was up about 45 degrees, and he was huge, and you could see through that hair that hung down from his arm, and he let out a scream that I could not duplicate. We were inside that car and driving out of there so fast. That little Chevy he was getting it too. It got us down the road by where they make bicycles back in that day. And I smelled brakes. And I said, you better stop. I smell brakes. And that driver, she pulled over and she said, bah, my emergency brake's on. And she pulled that release and then brakes came loose. She said, that's impossible. I've had that brake on before and I could not go. But we were so scared that brake, that emergency brake did not stop us. We pulled out of that and we got on that road. We headed right straight back towards the airport. And I seen him 3 times in Kay County. That's true story.
That almost sounds like a Halloween story.
Yeah,
Very.
3 times.
No matter where Ponca go, he follows us like that way. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Good
we're getting ready to
stories.
close out. But the only way that I know that name is Indalinge means Bigfoot. Indalinge means Bigfoot. That name, that's an old name, Hunt Molly. That means Night Walker.
Yeah.
Certain clans that use that name. There's a name in the Omaha clan for that, and the name in our Ponca has been died out before we even moved here. Hunt
Yeah.
Molly.
That
But anyway,
Indalinge means no face.
that's what I heard too. But Grandpa Lewis said it means no father. If you just say someone didn't have a father, you say Indalinge. But
Well,
Indalinge
look,
is a negative, also a negative article like Aji, Maji, and Baji. There's an E there. It turns into what they call a blunt A. Indalinge. But I'm not know, but that's what he says. But I was told it meant no face.
look up mask. M-A-S-K. That's
It's
called
Inde. It's Inde
Indalinge.
Uglan.
Huh?
Mask is Inde Ugle Uglan. Inde Uglan. That's how you say mask.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Inde Uglan.
But yeah,
Okay. Go ahead, Grandpa.
I heard those words. I know. I know what they mean. But somebody better close us out. I brought us in.
Yeah, Connie.
Thank you for everyone being here tonight, and thank you so much for everybody who's willing to help and who is willing to chip in and give their 2 cents worth. Thank you so much for Eagle, and thank you for Grandpa Raymond and their knowledge. Thanks for bringing Barbara home safe, and thank you for Debbie being with us as well, because she imparts a lot of knowledge, and it's great to see everybody. Good night. I'm in.
Wahoo.
Good
Night.
night. Thank you.
See you tomorrow.
Gotcha. We taught Bay Tomike.